Hey, what's up team? Eddie Gray, that Logic Pro guy here. Today we're going to look at sampler, quick sampler. How come I keep losing all my files? Right, a lot of folks out there are losing a bunch of files, super frustrated. There's no need to be. Let's take a look here. If we open up a session with two software instruments, the first instrument is going to be quick sampler, which is the little brother of sampler, and then the second one, of course, is going to be sampler. All right, so that has been established. I'm gonna go ahead and shift over my window because I want to look at the actual session folder that we are about to save. But before we do that, let's go into settings. One thing I'm going to do to safeguard our work here is I want Logic to search samples on all volumes. We want Logic to look for those samples everywhere. All right, so after that, we need to look very closely at the save dialog window, because if you do not save the sampler audio data when saving a new session, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. I always recommend that my people save only folder sessions. You don't want to organize your project as a package because I want you to be able to look at all the assets. So on this particular test, we're going to save this with no sampler audio data. I'll save this in the desktop. I'll open up this folder, move it over to the side, and I really want your eyes to stay on this particular folder. So when I look at quick sampler over here on the left hand side, I'm going to drag this in. Even though I saved this folder to not save sampler data, look at what happens here. Logic sees that you're trying to do something. I'll hit Command S again, and if I open up that folder, you can see that quick sampler is always going to save a external sample into the project session. That's been established. Now, when we talk about presets inside of quick sampler, those can be saved as a .pst file, or you can save a folder containing that specific file. So let me just show you what that looks like in a closer view. So you can save a .pst, or I recommend that you save a folder, because otherwise every single random sample that you have will be collected inside of this catch-all folder. Whereas you can see on Steel's slide here, not only do I have the .pst file, but I also have all the samples as well. So I think that's a phenomenal way to work. Now, if I go to sampler, there really is two ways of doing things. You can save with audio data or without audio data. So I find this interesting because they give you one more shot to save your .exs files with the audio data on. So you can see that here when I save something, saying, hey, are you sure? Do you really want to save this with audio data or not? So this is pretty simple. So when we save with no audio data, the sampler instrument is referencing an external source for those samples. So here we have a Kyoto, and these particular samples are being referenced outside of this instrument. When I shift over to this sampler preset, these are all impacts sounds like that. And look at this, look how fascinating this is. When I go into audio music apps, you can see that those samples are actually here inside of user sampler preset save with audio data. So you can either save these inside of the session, but this could be redundant, right? Because if you already have them save on the computer, you don't want to save it again and again. The advantages of saving it within the project folder is if you're somebody who moves around a lot, maybe you're on different systems, different studios, different external drives, then you should probably always have those samples in the project folder. And if you're more efficient, maybe you have a computer that doesn't have a lot of space, then maybe you can start referencing outside of the project folder. This is really just a subjective thing based on your needs. If space is not an issue and you don't want to think about this, you should always save with audio data. You should always save within the folder, and that will give you the peace of mind that you want. Just focus on being creative, and that's it. So this is an addendum to the video, something that I thought about while I was editing. For those of you that are going to save your own user presets, but you don't want to do it within your system, I want you to check this out. I'm going to load some .exs instruments that I have built on my own. So I'm going to go into an external hard drive, and you can see I created a Logic Pro sampler folder. Now within this folder we have two things. We've got the instruments themselves in the .exs files, and then we have the samples that are connected to them. So if I load, let's say, this low impact .exs file, and I open it, that then is going to be referenced outside of the session. Now, depending on how you have your settings inside of the save dialog window, that can complicate things, right? Because you could have the initial instrument referencing the external drive, but also the files can be saved within this project session. So I'll give you an example. We just opened this .exs file. We'll call this test. I'll send this over to the desktop, and we're going to save the sampler audio data. All right, let's hit save. I'll hit Command S one more time, and when I pop up this folder, what do you know? We have the low impact samples right here. So this means that the files are both on the external drive and within this project folder as well. So if I decide to create my own preset, let me go ahead and recall the default here. Okay, we're going to take all of these, we'll drag them here to C3. I'm going to drag all the way down so that each sample is assigned to each key. All right. Now, if I hit Command S, let's look at that folder. Again, nothing has changed, and that's because we told it not to save with sampler audio data. Now we can start over, and I can save this with audio data, but there's actually a way to change that within your project settings. Inside of assets, there's like a neat way to kind of reclaim your saving power here. So I'm going to go ahead and tell Logic to start saving these sampler audio files into the project. Now remember, I haven't even saved this as a user preset. And now when I hit Command S, you can see that Logic created a default folder, and now all of those samples are within this session. So I think you can see why things get super messy. We've got .pst files, .exs files, the ability to save audio within a session or not within a session. You can reference an external hard drive. It's an absolute mess, but I think this video will give you a little bit more clarity. Maybe watch it a couple more times, maybe start running some of these tests yourself, and I think that you will be golden. I haven't run into any issues in many years, and not because I'm smart or anything like that. It's just that I spend a lot of time with the program, and I just love Logic Pro so much. So thank you guys for the opportunity. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep working hard. That's what this is all about. Continuing to refine, continuing to develop this amazing discipline of music production. Thank you so much for the opportunity. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and support the channel in any way possible, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.